Welcome into Tiger Talks Wrestling. I am your host, Tony. I am joined today by my co-host, Mr. Awesome, and our very special guest. Hello, everybody. We're back here again, this time for WWE Backlash prediction show as Backlash kicks off here in just under 2 hours now. Tony, joined, of course, by the reigning and defending TikTok champion, the almighty Shazam.
How's it going?
Going pretty good. How about you?
Doing good.
Oh, this ought to be an interesting show that they've got going on here tonight in San Juan, Puerto Rico. For anybody who did or didn't get a chance to watch SmackDown last night, that crowd was pretty impressive, I thought, for the first time back in San Juan in quite a long time for WWE. And they showed, to me, if they can stick with that same energy and enthusiasm tonight as what they had for SmackDown last night, this might be one of the best crowds we've had probably in a long time, honestly, in my opinion.
Oh, agreed 100%.
That was an incredible show, and I think the crowd brought a lot to it.
It was all about that second whoa.
I know, right?
I mean, the first one you knew was coming, but that second one hit hard.
It did. And Cody's definitely over with that crowd. But he wasn't the only one that got quite the pop last night.
Right.
I mean, that pop for Bunny at the end of the show, almost Road Warrior-esque.
Walking out with the LWO.
Oh, yeah. All right. Let's, for anybody who might join in at any point, just feel free to put your predictions in the comment section or comments anyways. Shows there's one person in there. Showed two at one point, but otherwise, we're going to get started on our predictions.
Sounds good.
Try to get what match right there that we're going to kick off with. Whoops, I have the wrong one set up. Shame on me.
Damn it, Tony, you had one job.
I know, right? All right. I flipped them. That's why I had it backwards. So we're going to kick off with this match here. And I want to try something else here real quick. Yeah, I think that looks a little bit better. All right, so we're going to start with Seth freaking Rollins going one-on-one with the Nigerian giant Omos. I had questioned this match when they first made it, as you know, and I still question it because, honestly, what the hell sense is there in putting these two against each other? I mean, there's no build to it. They had one time in the last 3 weeks where these two men were face-to-face. This last week on Raw, they didn't have any interaction at all. Seth Rollins was too busy with the Bloodline instead.
That was such a fun segment, though.
Wasn't it, though?
I mean, I enjoyed it.
Still. Well, yeah, no, I enjoyed it. The fact that they didn't build to this match at all. I mean, I guess Omos kind of might have a little bit later on in the show, but still, I felt like they needed to build it more instead of just randomly get this match made on SmackDown a couple weeks ago with no explanation to it, and you get one week where they actually have a little interaction, and Seth tells Omos he's going to make him famous pretty much and do what he does.
Right.
Which I mean, you know, Omos is gonna dominate quite a bit of this match, but in the end, there's no way you have Omos beat Seth Rollins here. I just don't see that happening in any way, shape, or form. Seth is a leading candidate to win the World Heavyweight Championship, so there's no way they're gonna have him lose to Omos. Is my thinking.
I mean, what's Omos's record on pay-per-views?
Not that great, honestly.
Lately, keep it the same way.
Right?
I mean, Seth freaking Rollins there's no chance of him losing. He's winning this, and he's going to start that tournament and get that title.
Very likely. Wouldn't be surprised. And of course, you'll hear all those 16,000+ people in attendance singing his song. So,
whoa.
You see where last weekend there was a crowd over in the UK that sang it serenaded him for what I think it said 16 minutes.
Yep.
Like, holy crap, you know that a guy's song and the guy is over when you got a whole crowd for 16 minutes just singing your song.
Just wait till Money in the Bank.
That's going to be great.
Whether he's the champion or just competing, it's going to be the same damn pop.
I bet. You have to imagine by then, when Money in the Bank comes around, he'll probably be the World Heavyweight Champion, but we'll see.
If not competing for it.
Right.
But he's got to be the odds-on favorite 100%.
I'd agree. I'm sure some people would say Cody, but you and I both know what we think of that. So
Cody ain't saying on Raw. Let's be realistic here.
I know, right? He'll be there till Money in the Bank, maybe.
Yep, and then he's gonna go to SmackDown and not just cash in. He's gonna challenge at SummerSlam, and it's going to go down in Detroit, Michigan, at Little Caesars Arena, your new WWE Universal Champion, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. So.
It has to, but he's
got to. It's the only one that makes sense.
Right? We'll get into more of that in a little bit, but... we got other business to attend to before that.
Right.
Next match. So realistically, in my opinion, there's only 2 possible winners of this match out of the 3 because of the draft, honestly. Bronson Reed gets drafted to Monday Night Raw, whereas Bobby Lashley and the current United States champion Austin Theory are heading to SmackDown as of starting Monday.
Yeah.
So to me, that just reads that Bronson Reed is not walking out with the U.S. title here because he already got the Intercontinental Championship on Monday nights.
I mean, yeah, I agree. And I mean, which sucks because this Lashley-Reed rivalry they got going, it may have been low on totem pole, but it was fire.
It was. I mean, the one match they had was really good, and Bronson Reed was not anywhere near 100% for that match. I just can't imagine what it would have been like if both of these guys were 100% and had an actual match that ended fairly, I guess you could say, instead of in a double count out.
Right.
But I guess we just have to keep dreaming and waiting for that match to happen, though.
This is very true. But with that being said, I think, and I freaking hate this guy, I think Theory retains. Going Theory. I don't like it. It's just how the cookie crumbles. Theory is going to retain.
And you know what? I'm going to agree with you. I got Austin Theory retaining as well. We've seen what Theory could do in a triple threat matches back when he won the U.S. title against Rollins and Lashley. I think it's probably going to be something kind of similar here. Lashley and Reed will take each other out. Theory will pick up the scraps. Probably pin Lashley, I think, and then move on to somebody different once Friday comes along. I think Lashley might go after somebody else, but we'll see. It could continue Lashley in Theory, but I honestly don't think they will and don't think they need to.
No, I'll tell you what's going to happen. I'll tell you straight up what's going to happen. Theory versus Waller.
Okay. I don't know.
It'd be the first time I would cheer my butt off for Grayson Waller.
I'm sure you would. I wouldn't, but you would.
Right.
We all know that. This should be a really fun match anyways, and at least we'll get to see some interaction between Lashley and Reed here. And again, I just think Theory's going to...
For the last time.
I know, for now anyway.
To the Rumble.
Well, maybe before then.
Maybe Survivor Series.
Yeah, I was going to say, you never know what they're going to do with Survivor Series this year. So. And technically, I mean, these two men could end up being in the World Heavyweight Championship tournament and face each other at Night of Champions too, but I don't think anybody actually believes that'll ever happen. So,
what, Lashley being in the tournament?
No, Lashley and Reed making it to the finals. Lashley maybe, but Reed, I don't think so.
But would Lashley actually be in it?
You see,
he's not going to be on the Raw roster.
No, but there's Raw and SmackDown competitors are going to be in the tournament. So you must not have heard. Triple H announced that. Yeah, Triple H announced yesterday in the press conference, which I didn't see the press conference because I was at work, but I did see on social media afterwards. There will be 2 triple threat matches on Monday Night Raw. The winners of both matches will then face each other in the main event of Raw, with the winner of that match going on to the main event, or to the World Heavyweight Championship match, rather, at Night of Champions. SmackDown will also have 2 triple threat matches with the winners facing each other in the finals, in the main event, rather, of SmackDown next Friday. And then that person that wins that match will face the winner of the Raw match.
So what you're telling me is it'll be Rollins versus McIntyre.
Not in the finals, it ain't. Rollins and McIntyre
on the Raw side.
Yeah.
And then Bobby versus... Oh, God. Who else would actually stand a chance?
The Phenomenal One.
Oh, yeah, he is on SmackDown now. And then have it be... But I don't think Bobby will go to the finals if it's that match. If that's the match. I think it'll be Rollins versus Styles.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, too. I mean, they haven't released who the 6 guys will be from either brand yet, but...
Well, those are the 4 most obvious. Well, I mean, the 2 from each brand.
Right.
As much as I would like to see an NXT person be given a spot in a triple threat match, with that being the picture in mind, I don't think it's going to happen.
We already know Cameron Grimes won't be in either one of the 2 triple threat matches on SmackDown because he's got a match against bum ass Corbin on SmackDown next Friday night.
Gonna take that bum ass to the moon.
Right? A little off topic here, but hey, we got some stuff to go over too. So,
right.
But again, this should be a fun triple threat match. Just as we both said, Theory will somehow weasel his way into retaining the U.S. title here and still claim that he's the greatest United States champion of all time since he beat John Cena at WrestleMania.
But he hasn't beat Rusev.
That is true.
Not saying Rusev's the greatest, but come on. Rusev had a nice reign.
He did. All right. So this one going to be interesting. We got the Raw Women's Championship on the line between two SmackDown ladies. Oh boy, I hate what might end up happening out of this. But let's go into a little bit. God, I hope not.
It's going to. You know it is.
I hope not. There was talks of potentially renaming the titles, and I hope that's what they actually do with it. But we'll see. Nonetheless, as of tonight, if Bianca retains here, Michael Cole was mentioning on SmackDown yesterday, which I wanted to fact check on, but I didn't get around to it. If Bianca Belair retains here tonight, she will become the longest reigning women's champion in the modern era. Which was something I did not know, nor did I think was actually true, because I thought Becky...
Yeah, I thought Becky still had a huge, long reign.
Yeah. Before she had to forfeit because she was pregnant. But supposedly, if Bianca wins and come midnight tonight, she'll have the longest reign in modern history. In modern era. But anyway, we got Io Sky versus Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship. I'm sure they don't show them in the picture there, but I'm sure Bayley and Dakota won't be too far away. Dakota Kai celebrating her 35th birthday, by the way, today.
Nice.
Yeah. So how do you think this one's going to go down?
Okay, hear me out. Hear me out.
I'm hearing you.
I'm sick of Damage Control. I think the quickest way to break that up is Io Sky gets the title right here. Because then it's because Bayley's supposed to be the number one in Damage Control.
Right.
But Bayley couldn't beat Bianca. Io beats Bianca and he gets into Bayley's head and starts just fighting within the Damage Control. I'm not saying it's going to be a long reign for Io if this happens.
Right.
But could you imagine the pop if it did?
It'd be pretty huge.
So I'm going to go Io.
It's an interesting take to it. I'll mention one thing from last night when these four ladies, counting all three members of Damage Control, were in the ring. When Bianca and Io were face-to-face, Damage Control, Dakota and Bayley did shove Bianca into Io. There's talks of Io turning babyface at some point. Yeah. I think, I like your idea as well, but I think where this might end up going is, whether purposely or not, the other two members of Damage Control, I feel like, are going to cost Io Sky the match here tonight, and Bianca will retain the women's title.
It's a good take as well.
I could see them turning on Io too, Bayley especially, whether it be tonight or some point down the line. But I wouldn't be surprised if she did tonight, because Bayley's, as you mentioned, she's supposed to be the number one of Damage Control, and she actually gave up her spot in the triple threat match to lead into this match. So I could see the sour grapes from Bayley and her deciding, you didn't deserve this in the first place, so now I'm taking you out.
It was given to you.
Yeah. Either one of those two ways I could see potentially happening, but I think either whichever happens, or if anything else that happens, I still think Damage Control is pretty much Dunsky once this event is over, not long after. Moving along. I like how they actually had it in the same order pretty much I do. Except for the way we did it anyway. So this match is going to be a pretty good match, I think. As you got somewhat of a WrestleMania rematch here, except for you add in a couple extra people. I'm sure a lot of people would even mention how this is kind of similar to the Backlash main event that we had a year ago. Except for you just replace Roman with Solo, and instead of Sammy and KO, they had in Randy and Jordan.
Yeah.
I forgot there for a second. But I will say, this should be a pretty interesting 6-man tag team match. I mean, we know KO, Sammy, and Riddle all got drafted to Monday nights to Raw, whereas the Bloodline is all drafted to SmackDown. Of course, the elephant in the room, the fact that the Bloodline got drafted separately, and half of it went on SmackDown, and half of it got drafted on Raw. But that's that point.
I still wish the Usos. I still wish the Usos would have ended up on Raw.
I kind of do too. I was hoping.
Because that could build to a huge Survivor Series angle. The riddle me this, Quebecers are winning.
I like that.
And just to put more deception within the Bloodline. And I think basically, I think Solo is going to be told that it comes to a point in the match just to let them F up.
Yeah.
And the Usos think they're doing this like, oh, we're doing it for the tribal chief. We're doing it for Roman. And they're going to screw themselves over.
Interesting take. I want to get to that comment in the comment section, but I will mention mine first before we go into that. I actually agree with you. Again, I got KO, Sammy, and Riddle winning here. I just think I don't know if Solo's just going to walk away or if somebody, probably Jay, honestly, ends up eating a Samoan spike at some point, either during or after the match. But I just feel like this is the beginning of the end for the Bloodline, honestly. Okay. Before we move on past this, I want to remove that for a second. So we got Motor Torque Wrestling in the comments section. Says his Backlash predictions: Seth wins, Rhea wins, Bianca wins, but Damage Control split up by Io attacking Bayley and Dakota. Dakota tries pulling her off. Austin Theory sneak pins Bobby. Team Sammy wins. Cody and Bunny wins. Interesting takes. He also says, I see Jay turning on the Bloodline at Night of Champions and setting up Solo versus Jay at SummerSlam. I had heard rumors that it'd be Jay and Roman, and Solo and Roman at some point. So who knows? Those are interesting takes. You never know.
There answers our question. Theory versus Solo, Night of Champions, U.S. title. And
maybe. I mean, I could see.
That's where the Bloodline turns on Solo. Jay turns on Solo, not Roman.
Yeah. Could happen. We'll see. All right. Move on. Now I'm moving through these kind of quick, but that's okay. Here's the first of the two native superstars in action. Oh, I got to get to his comment there again, too, after we get talking about this a little bit. SmackDown Women's Championship, you got Zelina Vega, who has that Puerto Rican descent, of course, home field advantage, if you will, going up against Mommy, the SmackDown Women's Champion, Rhea Ripley here. I think we all know who's winning this match.
It's got to be Zelina.
You couldn't even say it with a straight.
They're in Puerto Rico. It's got to be Zelina. It's got to be her losing to the Eradicator. Rhea Ripley, hands down, keeping that title.
Yeah, no fans are buts about it. Rhea Ripley's taking the SmackDown Women's title. One thing I found interesting, kind of backtrack a little bit. Bianca Belair, when she had her promo on SmackDown before she got interrupted by Damage Control, didn't call it the Raw Women's title. She just kept referring it to as the Women's title or title quite often. So I still feel like, I don't know if the words are playing into what's going to eventually happen or not. because it wasn't mentioned a whole lot during the build up for either one of these two matches that they were Raw and SmackDown specific. I mean, when they eventually, towards the end of the show, mentioned the matches, then yes, they said Raw Women's Championship, SmackDown Women's Championship. But it'll be interesting to see what happens with those titles. And like I said, I hope to hell they learn from their previous mistakes and they don't do that title swap again. They just figure out something different. But we'll see. And yes, I do agree. Rhea Ripley is walking out still SmackDown Women's Champion to close, well, not close out, but to close out this rivalry, since we know Zelina Vega is staying on SmackDown and Rhea's staying over on Raw. All right. 5? You got ahead of me a little. Motor says, also I see Austin Theory versus Bray Wyatt at Night of Champions for the U.S. title. Ooh, that would be
nice.
He says he's got Bray winning. Bobby Lashley already got a title shot multiple times, and unfortunately Bronson had one time against Theory, but the reason why I say Bray is because no one else fits a person who takes the title from him. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, this is a good point. I like this one because I agree with this. Because he thought Braun Breaker, but that didn't happen because he wasn't drafted. Which I also thought was very interesting because I thought for sure Breaker at least was going to get drafted up to either Raw or SmackDown.
Nope. But we draft out of Steve Jones.
I know. It's baffling. Honestly, it is. And we draft Jinder Mahal back up with Indus Sher, too. You can leave Braun Breaker and Carmelo Hayes in NXT, though.
Future tag team champions in this year.
No, probably. He finished with saying, so I'm going with Bray Wyatt to be the one to face Theory at Night of Champions for the U.S. title. I mean, we got to see Bray Wyatt return, first of all. But I have heard supposedly they do have a new writer for Bray Wyatt, supposedly. But we'll see. He also says Grayson Waller versus Austin Theory would be a show stealer on SmackDown probably this Friday. He likes your idea, Waller and Theory. I don't like the idea, but two heels against each other.
Two heels that I can't stand.
You know, Baron Corbin was calling Cameron Grimes Mr. Irrelevant because he was the last person drafted on TV. But really, in all actuality, from the draft-wise, Grayson Waller is Mr. Irrelevant last drafted period.
Yeah, that is true.
Just a little thing put out there. Grayson's a great wrestler. I'll give him that, though, and a great entertainer. Not trying to shit on Waller too much.
And a great man of the mic.
Yes. Letter says, I hope the writer was picked by someone who knows horror and pro wrestling, but we'll see. Yeah.
Maybe it's
hopefully we get some good stuff out of whoever we get.
Maybe it's Wes Craven.
Maybe. Who knows? All right. Then we got this match. Got the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, one-on-one with the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar. One of the two matches in the double main event for Backlash tonight. Which one you bobbed your head to? Cody's or
I'm getting my prediction. 1 second. Whoa! Cody's winning. I don't care. It's Cody. It's got to be Cody. Brock can go just be a little bitch because he is one. It's Cody.
I mean, I got the guy's shirt on, so I kind of agree with you. it's hard to bet against the Beast Incarnate anytime, but as you mentioned, with the story and everything Cody's gone through and the build up to what we're hoping is to come, Cody's has to win here. Brock will beat the tar out of him, yes, but they got to give Cody the John Cena treatment, so as to speak, here, and have Cody pick up the win even after getting decimated for the most part by Lesnar. You still make Brock look like the beast that he is, but him losing to Cody won't hurt Brock any. Cody needs it worse than Lesnar does. Period.
Agreed.
All right. Now I will mention here in a minute what my reasoning was for that. It says, Motor says, Cody winning by hitting 4 cutters and 1 crossroads. I could see the other way around, 1 cutter and then 4 crossroads, but who knows? Either one could happen.
Maybe we'll get a Shattered Dreams in there.
Possibly. Cody has
what's
used it
the
before.
Other one? The film reference one. I can't remember the name of it, but you know what I'm talking about.
Final Cut?
Yes.
Yeah. Dustin's other finisher?
Yep.
Possibly. So they're saying it's a double main event. That match could main event tonight, or the other match could main event tonight and probably will with where they're at. Honestly, I thought all along that could, but with the build we've had for this and where it's at, how do you not end with the San Juan street fight between Bad Bunny? I think
there's going to be a return at this match too.
Really?
Yes. Not in the way you're thinking.
Okay, I'm hearing you out.
I think this is where we see the return of Lillian Garcia.
Really?
I'm not saying that she's coming back to the show to WWE full time, but I feel like with it being in Puerto Rico, it'd be a good spot to have her in.
Is she of Puerto Rican descent?
She is one of. Let me pull up where it was. She's one of the most popular Spanish American names to ever step in WWE.
Okay. Yeah, I could see him using her then tonight.
I feel like this would be the place to do it too. I mean, it's in Puerto Rico, and you know, you got to have those names, and you really don't have that many. No offense to Zelina.
I know.
You really have those names that you need.
Yeah.
So I feel like bringing in Lillian Garcia would be a perfect opportunity.
So it's going to be interesting to see how they do with the ring announcers though tonight, because we already know. Well, I just drew a blank on her name. The announcer for SmackDown, current announcer for SmackDown. Yeah. Like I said, I just drew a blank on her name all of a sudden, but Samantha Irving, that's where I was going. She's there because that's where SmackDown was last night. So the question is, will they have just her doing the ring announcing for the most part, or did they have Mike Rome travel over there as well, or Lillian Garcia, as you mentioned? That's going to be the interesting part for that. And will Corey Graves actually be there in San Juan, Puerto Rico, knowing that Wade Barrett was there yesterday? And will they just go with Wade and Michael Cole for commentary for tonight?
Makes sense just to go Wade and Michael.
I would think so. I mean, Wade's already there, so why not? And I think they did Michael Cole and Wade Barrett once before when they did their I can't remember which show it was. But it seems like there was one show that they did do Cole and Barrett for premium live event.
Maybe they'll bring in Pat McAfee.
I doubt it. He just had a baby a couple days ago, so him and his wife just had a baby a couple days ago, so I don't think he's going to be anywhere near Puerto Rico today. But anyway, I don't know about returns. I think we're going to see a debut, though, during this match.
A debut?
Yes. Because, I mean,
what
the
side?
LWO and the Judgment Day is going to get involved in this match. I think we're going to get some in addition to the Judgment Day.
Like someone that was drafted and hasn't made their debut yet on the big.
Correct.
Are we thinking a certain NXT guy, bit of a temper, kind of a wild card, little psycho at sometimes?
Yeah.
Are we thinking almost like an Irish ace of guys?
Huh. You got it right on the nose.
I mean, who else would better fit in that role?
Exactly.
If he debuts tonight, that would be freaking epic. As maybe another member on the Judgment Day.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. That'd be great creative. I mean, he fits the role so well.
Right. So my hot take here, I read about it and just thinking about that too. I think Judgment Day goes 2-0 tonight at Backlash. I think Damian Priest pulls off the upset and beats Bad Bunny in the main event. With help.
Well, before you brought up the possible JD joining JD, I thought Judgment Day, I mean, it's Damian Priest. You ain't, no offense, Bad Bunny, but you ain't going to, I mean, I guess I would love to see some great moves that you've done in the past on Dame, but it's not going to happen. But I think now I'm going to say Judgment Day goes 3-0 in this, and hear me out. I think Damian Priest wins. And then the war erupts in the ring. LWO versus Judgment Day. Judgment Day a little outnumbered. Music hits. There goes JD. And then with the help of JD, Judgment Day decimates all of LWO. And that's how you close out the show.
Possible.
Sorry, Puerto Rico, but we screwed you guys.
Yeah, it could happen. I mean, it would be pretty similar to the way that WrestleMania ended. So,
yeah.
That could be what they're thinking too. Who knows? But
I will say that.
Go ahead.
That promo that Bad Bunny did. I am no longer hosting Backlash. I'm going to Puerto Rico to whoop your ass. That was beautiful.
It was. I mean, they still say Backlash is hosted by Bad Bunny, so I guess apparently he's still hosting the show. But
and another thing, the reason why I think Damian's winning tonight is because Dominic saved him with saved him from the kendo stick last night.
Yeah.
So you want a full strength Damian to be in this match.
Right.
Bad Bunny, you don't need to be full strength. You're just a crazy lunatic anyways when it comes to wrestling moves.
Right.
Canadian Destroyer off the top rope.
It'd be great to see Bad Bunny win, but he's not going to be around for who knows how long in WWE. So honestly, Priest needs it more so than Bad Bunny does.
Yeah, when's the last time Priest had actually won a pay-per-view match?
Lord, that one's tough. The main one that comes to my mind is when him and Bad Bunny won at WrestleMania 2 years ago. So,
yeah, that's the one that's popping to my mind.
Because Priest, honestly, I mean, I'm sure he's had other wins on premium live events since then or pay-per-views, but That's the biggest one I feel like that he's had. And this would be even bigger, and I think would propel Priest even higher up, I guess you could say. And I even seen somebody post on social media earlier today. They feel like if Priest wins here, he'll be on that Dominic Mysterio level heat from crowds going forward.
Oh, for sure.
Which would make sense because everybody loves Bad Bunny. He's this big musician that's loved by so many people and streamed by so many people. So, and another person I seen said, "Well, Logan Paul lost to Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, and why wouldn't Bad Bunny lose here?" So,
because it's Bad Bunny, people like Bad Bunny, and Logan Paul is fake as hell.
Well, that's your take anyway.
But he makes great beverages. Those Prime beverages are amazing.
Are they really?
When you can find them.
Yeah. I've seen one recently.
I love the ice pop one. Tastes just like, it takes me back to being a kid with the bomb pops.
Oh yeah.
Tastes so good.
Nice. So once I got you here, that's pretty much it for Backlash at the moment. Let's talk a little bit some other wrestling from this past week, since you and I haven't been on screen to talk about how the draft turned out.
Oh gosh.
We talked about how night one of the draft turned out last Sunday when we were on here. What did you think of night two, though, of the draft this past Monday night?
Well, all I gotta say, based on the draft, is one question that needed to be answered. What the hell is going on with the NXT women's titles?
I know, right?
It made it obvious. Oh, they're going to drop it to Kate and Katana. Then
Right.
Monday, oh, you're going to Raw. The fuck?
I know. So you took away, honestly, they took away both of the tag teams that were left really in NXT. So I feel like maybe they're just deciding that they're going to drop the NXT. Well, I would say that, but actually, they did say that after the match happened on NXT, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn want to defend the NXT Women's Tag Team titles across all three brands.
Yeah, so, that's not
gonna. You wouldn't think so, but we'll see. As for the NXT Women's Championship, we already know what's going to happen with that because she relinquished the title, and we will get a new women's champion crowned at their next Premium Live event.
And who do you think it's going to be? Cora or Tiffany?
I hate to say it.
I swear to
Tiffany
God.
Stratton.
I swear to no.
Yes.
Out of the two, I would prefer Cora, but I could see them actually doing Tiffany. However, when is this tournament supposed to happen?
Over the next couple weeks, ending at Battleground Memorial Day weekend.
You mean it could feature someone who should be coming back any week now?
Is she?
Yeah, from what I understood, she's clear.
I hadn't heard that. Possibly then.
I'm not saying she'll win, but I prefer that person hold the title over Stratton.
I'd prefer a lot of people over Tiffany Stratton, honestly.
I can think of a few that I wouldn't prefer.
Yeah?
Thea Hale.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't pick Thea Hale over Tiffany Stratton. But still, I would pick somebody like a Cora Jade or a Gigi Dolan or JZ Jane or Elektra Lopez.
As much as I want Nikita to return and get that title, I got to go with the dark horse here. I think Sol Roca is going to come out on top of your next champion.
She's not even going to be in the tournament. She's out injured now, too.
BS.
She's out injured. She just got...
Is she really?
Yeah, she is injured, too.
Damn it.
Yep. I mean,
But who's even there besides those two dummies?
they got a lot of women on the roster, I suppose, but I don't even
So-
know because they had a lot of them come out and brawl after Indy vacated the title at the end of the show, but I don't even remember who all was shown because it was very quick that it happened. I don't even know if Roxanne Perez was out there, honestly.
Is there going to be like an 8-person tournament then? Is what they're thinking?
I have no idea. They didn't really specify how many women will be in it. It'll just start this next week on NXT, from what it sounded like.
Okay. So obviously Cora, Tiffany, it's a few others.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Ivy, Niall, and Fallon Henley were somehow involved.
Yeah, because Fallon
Kiana
Henley
James.
and Kiana James were out there fighting over the title at the end of the show, too. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're involved in it. Fallon Henley, I would be fine with winning the title, too, over Tiffany Stratton, but
I don't think they'll give it to her, though, over Tiffany.
no. I think it's too soon for Fallon really to have it. Honestly, it's too soon for Tiffany to have it.
I'd say, yeah.
But the higher ups in WWE seem to like Tiffany Stratton. So
Why? Because she's a mix of Trish Stratus and Tori Wilson in their prime?
probably.
That's what I see when I look at her.
Yeah. I was very surprised to see how many people from NXT got bumped up or called up to Raw and SmackDown. I wasn't surprised really to see Apollo Crews go back to Raw. He's going to, but there was a lot of people that Raw picked up compared to what SmackDown got in the supplemental draft. And I was surprised to get more people from NXT going to SmackDown than what we did, because so many of them went to Raw. I know Raw's, of course, the hour longer show, but still, I felt like SmackDown should have gotten a little bit more than what they did.
Right.
Because I think I made note of it. I think out of the draft, SmackDown ended up getting like 42 or something like that wrestlers. Let me see. I know I got it wrote down. And then Raw got like 64 or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So on the topic of the draft, I mean, I didn't agree with where some of the people went, but okay, 60, yeah. Raw drafted 60 people and SmackDown drafted 44. I want to get on another topic from the draft before we get into people that we felt like didn't get put where they should have. 11. That's the number of free agents coming out of the draft. What is... Do you even know who the 11 are?
Omos, Brock Lesnar, Dolph Ziggler, Mustafa, Von Wagner, Alexa Bliss. Are we counting that?
No.
Even though she's technically.
She's not considered one of them.
Who the fuck am I with? I got what, 5?
Yeah, you got 5. There's 6 more. Who wants to walk?
Elias is a free agent.
He is. You're 6.
Did Ezekiel get signed?
No. Bum ass.
Oh yeah, piece of shit.
Then you got Cedric Alexander, Shelton Benjamin, Zion Quinn from NXT.
Really?
Yes. And oh yeah, I guess that's it technically. MVP is who I think I put for the other person.
Well, you know MVP ain't going anywhere from where. Wait a minute. So like, almost the entire Hurt business is free agents.
Yep, all except for the Almighty.
Oh my gosh.
It could lead to a Hurt Business reunion. We'll see. I doubt it, but we'll see. Out of those names, I'm baffled by the fact that a lot of those are free agents, honestly. And hopefully they actually do something with them that makes sense and have them put on to official shows other than Brock Lesnar. We know Brock Lesnar is going to stay as a free agent because both USA Network and Fox want Brock Lesnar. That's the main reason he's a free agent. The rest of them, though, they need to go somewhere. I honestly don't like the fact that they called up 2 NXT people and kept them as free agents, though. You and I discussed this last week.
Especially with one of them being Zion Quinn, who's freaking amazing.
Yeah, he is a very good athlete, and they haven't had him on NXT. They haven't had him on NXT. They've had him on NXT to level up, I suppose, from what I've seen.
Yeah.
I haven't really watched it that much, but I know he's been in some matches on there. But that guy is way too talented and could easily be added into the bloodline if they wanted to. He looks so similar to those guys. And I believe he does have the Samoan descent to him too. Which they could easily, if what we predict happens tonight and Solo takes out the Usos, get dropped from the bloodline, I could see him adding somebody like Zion Quinn to the bloodline if Roman deems fit, seems how Roman Reigns will be back on SmackDown this upcoming Friday night. You never know what could happen there. But yeah, I don't agree with Zion Quinn being a free agent. I just feel like they should have put him on SmackDown, honestly. Von Wagner, as you and I mentioned last week, I mentioned there, I don't agree with him being called up as a free agent or being put on Raw or SmackDown, either one. I feel like they've got a lot more work to do to build his character that they've started doing little by little on NXT over the last couple of weeks. I feel like he should have stayed there until we actually get an actual character from him, in my opinion.
Agreed.
I mean, it was an interesting picture that Mr. Stone found when he was looking through the photo albums. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but it was a picture of Von Wagner when he was a baby and he had some headgear on his head. Don't know where exactly they're going with that or what exactly happened with Von Wagner, but apparently something did when he was a baby. So, and they mentioned his dad and showed pictures of his dad in WrestleMania 9, I think it was, against the Natural Disasters. And the fact that those guys never won tag team gold, and Von Wagner says he's winning gold, which his dad never did. So, we'll see. It felt like on SmackDown they're kind of building off for Corbin-wise that neither USA Network nor Fox wanted Baron Corbin, is why he's a free agent. So, which I would be perfectly fine with seeing that. I'd be perfectly fine with seeing him roll with that. So, at least they gave him a reasoning to go off of, I guess. So, what was there any specific people or persons besides the Usos, I mean, obviously, that we mentioned, that you felt like should have been drafted to the opposite brand than what they got drafted to?
Not that I can think of. I think everyone went in the right spots.
I personally, honestly, still would have rather seen Roman in the Bloodline on Raw. I just think it would have been different to see him over on Raw instead of being on SmackDown after the last couple of years on SmackDown. But
you know Fox isn't going to let him go, though.
I know. Fox didn't want to let Roman go. There was some people I don't know. I felt like on SmackDown's part of the draft that SmackDown had the better women's division coming out of the first half of the draft. But honestly, now after seeing what happened on Raw Monday night, I feel like Raw has the better women's division of the two brands. Yes, SmackDown got Damage Control, Bianca, Charlotte Flair, and Asuka as the main people, I would say. But Raw's got Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, Natalya. They've got Becky Lynch, Trish Stratus. I mean, they've got the women's tag team champions Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. The list goes on and on. I just feel like after everything was said and done, Raw's women's roster looks so much more competitive,
Stacked.
I guess you could say, and stacked than what SmackDown's does now. And that wasn't even mentioning everybody. They even put Xia Li and Emma over on the Raw brand, and Tegan Knox as well. So it'll be interesting to see where things go from here. I mean, you never know how exactly those rosters will stack up, though, because there has been talks of the spring cleaning happening at some point soon, too. So,
yeah,
we'll see. Hey, we got a couple people in the chat section. Not saying anything, or a couple people watching, I should say. All right. If those people are, it says 3 there, and it says 1 here. So if there are more people in there, if you want to give any predictions for Backlash, go ahead in there. But we're just talking a little bit of the draft. Let me see. Is there anything else really worth mentioning from this past week? Since this is kind of our recap stuff, too. We'll say JD McDonough did have a great match with Dragon Lee on NXT, though, for his final match in NXT.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah. Glad to see the OC pick up a big win over the Viking Raiders last night on SmackDown. And Shinsuke Nakamura left SmackDown on a win, which was good. I didn't even realize they only had 3 matches last night. Oh, 4, sorry. I missed the Mysterio and Zelina match. Still, usually there's about 5 matches on SmackDown, but there was only 4 last night.
Probably with who was ever available.
True. I'm kind of surprised that they had Kaiser and Vinci there, and they weren't busy since Gunther just got married this week. But I don't think that other brand really matters much right now, other than what I predicted all along is going to happen at their Double or Nothing pay-per-view. But that's for another time. It'll be interesting to see how the Raw landscape looks going forward, starting Monday night after tonight's Backlash, anyways. Because you got Intercontinental Champion, of course, Gunther with Imperium, who you would have to think for now, up until we get a World Heavyweight Champion, will pretty much be the workhorse champion, so as to speak, and even past getting a World Heavyweight Champion. So many dream matches that we've got out of the draft for Gunther to face over there on Raw now. People mentioned Gunther versus Chad Gable, got him versus Johnny Gargano potentially in the future. Couple of smaller names, but still so many bigger names. I mean, you can get rematches with Shinsuke Nakamura. You can get a lot of big names there.
Gunther versus Jinder.
Sure, because we want that. Gunther versus Cody Rhodes at some point down the road. Now we can get 2. After the amazing finale we had at the Royal Rumble this past year.
Oh, yeah.
So, but as we said, Cody might not be sticking around Raw for too long either. So who knows if we'll get that match anytime soon or not. Imagine Gunther and Seth freaking Rollins.
Right.
A lot of choices there. Yeah, it'll be nice to see where the free agents will end up and what all they do too. All right. I think that's pretty much main things I've got in store. Any last predictions for Backlash tonight? Maybe you think there's going to be any other surprises on the show tonight?
I don't think so.
No.
No.
Probably not. I feel like it's going to be probably babyface heavy for wins for the most part, but we'll see. Like I said, I got Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest winning, but and Theory. I think the good guys are going to go over it, or girls in the other matches.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then, Backlash starting here in a little less than an hour. Pre-show's on now. I probably won't pay too close of attention to that, but get some other stuff done before the pay-per-view, premium live event, whatever you want to call it, gets kicked off here. Before I close out, though, got to mention for anybody watching this, I will be back on the air this upcoming Thursday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time for a BTW review show for their last two shows. Got the two shows listed on that page that you can go and watch before I do the review show. If I'm not sure when exactly we'll do another WWE/AEW review show. Next weekend's a bit hard to do with Sunday being Mother's Day.
Right.
Saturday I close at work, which is fine. I can do after 8 o'clock on a Saturday, but I'll keep in touch with you, and we'll just, if not next weekend, we can do the weekend after too, potentially. So other than that, the next prediction show, that'll have to be Battleground weekend, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, Battleground happens that weekend, but that's not the only premium live event that weekend or pay-per-view. Let me double check my stuff here real quick. Double or Nothing is the same day as Battleground.
Interesting.
Yes. I know which one I'll be watching because I don't have to pay anything extra to watch Battleground on Peacock.
Right. On the cock.
May 28th. But not only do we have Battleground and Double or Nothing on Sunday, May 28th, but on Saturday, May 27th, of course, is WWE Night of Champions. So, what we'll have to do for that, I'm thinking what we'll probably do. Oh man, that's because that Saturday, and they're going to be in the show's going to start at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm going to have to get back with on how my schedule will at Friday, I guess. See if we can get a prediction show in on Friday before SmackDown, probably on the 26th. It might have me close that day, hopefully not, but they're starting to do that now. So, but yeah, we'll have to try and get, if we can, at least get that prediction show in, and then maybe later in the day, Saturday, the 27th, try to do our Battleground / Double or Nothing prediction show. Is what I'm thinking.
Okay.
But that's the main things. Of course, then after that, you got Money in the Bank for WWE, which will be a fun one to do a prediction show for, as always. But we'll go from there. All right. Anything you got want to mention?
No, can't say I do.
All right. I got my plug out there. You know what? Actually, I'm going to do this instead. Well, I can do it from there. Well, instead of my usual send-off, we're going to take you out with this. Just a moment once it decides to load here. It's slow sometimes. I'm not going to do the whole thing because I'm going to cover the whole camera.